This is my first recording in a couple days, and that's because I've been going and doing the tourist thing and the sightseeing tours, and most of them you can't record on, which I respected. Which I have to tell you, 2 of them were of plantations that were absolutely gorgeous, and the history behind them, both the past history and the present history, the history being made about them now, is wonderful. But today I went on a graveyard tour of the St. Louis Cemetery, which you can't record in, and to be honest, it was overcrowded and overpacked, and you really couldn't see anything or take any good pictures of anything. But they do have the Queen of Voodoo in there, and I don't want to say her name on video for the sake of totally butchering it, but I will have it tagged in those clips that I took in there. In here I am in the Layfeytte graveyard, which is also in New Orleans, and this one you are allowed to walk around by yourself. You're also allowed to take pictures and video record. I have to tell you, I passed several of these cemeteries while going through New Orleans, and I didn't take pictures or video record them out of what I thought was respect for the dead. Then I learned from my dad, of all people, that you can do that, and it's not disrespectful, and that they even have the graveyard tours. That's who I heard about them from. My dad saw them on TV and told me no go. No, I should go to it because it's supposed to be great. But if you know me, you know that I am afraid of all things scary, and I thought it would be scary. But it is not scary. It's actually quite peaceful. But what I did learn is that these giant tombs are not made because of a water table. I used to think that they were made because of a water table, and that the reason the people were buried above ground was so that their corpses could not float away. But on one of these tours, and in talking to people here, I actually found out, which I should have known because I have been to France, and I did see these kind of burials over there, but I just assumed it was the same thing, is that this is a Catholic tradition. And it's a French, Spanish Catholic, Roman Catholic tradition that you can bury people above that they buried people above the ground historically. Now they'll bury them above the ground, underground. And I have to tell you, I also learned that the Catholics do believe in cremation. They just don't speak about it. Now I'll tell you how when I get to one of these big brick ones, because it was just a fascinating story to learn. But I'm just slowly walking through here and videotape it. Well, actually, this one is beautiful, so maybe I will tell the story at this one. So see how big this is. And so you have to think that inside this is all the people listed on there, which this one doesn't have as many as some, but all the people listed right in front of here are in there. And you would think, well, wait, they can't all fit in there. Well, what happens is they get put in there on a shelf, and then because it's New Orleans and it gets 100 degrees in the summer with 100% humidity. I'm going to tell the story as I walk, actually. I just decided because this one's equally cool. So it gets to 100 degrees here with 100% humidity. So what happens to the body inside is that they dehydrate. And when they dehydrate, it's basically the same as decomposing, just in a different way. But they are cooking in there, because if it's 100 degrees out here with 100 degrees humidity, it's got to be like 200 and something degrees inside one of these. So then when they go to put the next body in, they remove the hair, they crush the bones, and if there's anything left they put in a bag. But if it has too much of any unsightly things that they wouldn't touch, I kid you not, guess where the saying, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole came from? Yep, you guessed it. From French and Spanish Roman Catholic caretakers taking care of these things. What they would do is they would push the remains all the way to the back with, you guessed it, a 10-foot pole. And that's where the saying, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, came from. Because some of the remains were so grotesque they didn't want to touch them. And then they would put the new body in there. That's what would happen. There is also another part of the story about a year and one day before they do that, but I didn't catch all that part, so that's something I've decided to tell you guys that you're gonna have to Google, because I will not remember to Google such things. I'm sorry. I just can't remember everything. And since I really want to be out here seeing, doing and feeling things, I don't want to spend my time Googling stuff. Just don't want to do it right now. But I have to tell you, I'm in New Orleans. There's so much to see. I was only going to spend a day here. I know anybody out there that's from here is going to think that's crazy. I'm now going to spend 3 days here, maybe even more. I bought a 3-day pass on the tour bus, which also isn't my thing because I like to tour around myself, but I did it because it really does get me around their city, and the people on there are so informative, telling you what to see. But I thought that story about the graveyards and how the bodies are in there are really cool. And then some of these ones, like this one right here, which I'm going to take a picture of actually, some of these ones do only have one body in them. And there's some stuff about famous people, Adam, like at the St. Louis graveyard, there's a thing for Nicolas Cage. I'm not really into the famous people thing. I don't know why. It's no offense to them, and I guess it's no compliment to them. But to me, people are just people. And I gotta be excited about the regular people as much as the famous people, because this right here, this beauty, has regular people in it. I think that's cool. And at the other graveyard, and I know I keep referring back and forth, but again, it's because I couldn't record, and I took some pictures there, but not many, but they'll be identified in the video. Oh look, somebody left a hat and some beads to this one. 1897. That's really pretty. At the other one, shoot, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Oh, there's just so many different things between this one and that one. But that one does have a paid tour with a tour guide that walks you through it. This is a walking tour, and you can go through with a tour guide, or you can go through without a tour guide. I went through partially with the tour guide, just listening to the stories. And then I decided to walk by myself. We're making some announcement by security because this thing is closing. Okay, so before I say bye and see you later, I came down this aisle to see how long this was. I have to figure out how to get my way out of here because they are closing soon. I think I can cut through here. There you go. Alright, bye again. Peace out.